Waterfan TV, the Joy and the Pain podcast is live. Part of the Talk Sport network, and loving every minute. Whilst we wait for a flurry of transfers, we're continuing our series of our new arrivals to League Two. And today we're thinking about the MK Dons. So we've got with us Jonathan Harries. How you doing, Jonathan?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a bit of a tortuous one for Warsaw. We often huffed and puffed about who we were going to have as new manager. And we interviewed a guy. I don't know whether you've heard of him, Graham Alexander.
Oh, you mean our new manager?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. Yeah. Well, apparently he didn't fit the formulation and fit the criteria for the manager's job. So he either didn't get offered it, which is what the party line would be, or he got offered it and declined it. So you never really know, do you? But he was one that was a favourite for me, and I quite liked the thought of having him with us. So your initial thoughts when you found out that Graham Alexander had become your new manager?
Well, to be honest, it never really crossed our fan base's mind when we were looking for a manager. I think Danny Cowley and Michael Appleton were the two that our fan base really sort of wanted. And
Yeah.
then literally about 3 days before he was announced, it was like Graham Alexander's in line for it, and we were really surprised. And we'd actually forgotten some of the fan base about him because obviously his time up in Scotland and but he's come across really well in all his interviews. He seems a determined, focused kind of manager. Doesn't seem like he'll pull any punches. He's obviously had success in the lower leagues with Scunthorpe and Fleetwood, and I'm really excited to see how this goes. He wasn't actually one Pete Winkleman considered until he got an interview.
Yeah.
And then Pete Winkleman actually said that his interview completely changed his mind. And another strange quirk is he's actually based in Milton Keynes, which I didn't know about either. So
That
small
sounds like
world.
a perfect role for him then.
Yeah.
I think there's many managers in that travel all the way around the country. I think Mike Flynn at Walsall, he was still living in Newport when he was manager of Walsall,
Oh, wow.
which is it's all right for a day out, but you don't want to be doing that all the while, do you?
No, absolutely. As you say, the travelling. I mean, we had it with Paul Tisdale a few years back. He was travelling from Exeter to Milton Keynes pretty much every week,
Yeah.
which is some trek. So, as you say, it seems like it was meant to be with
Yeah.
Alexander.
And to be honest, from what I saw of Graham Alexander in some interviews he'd done, he did come across very professional and a professional, experienced manager, and that's why I thought he'd be ideal for Warsaw. But in the end, he was either because he declined it or Walsall decided to go with our coach, our previous assistant coach. So Matt Sadler, former player, has been given the manager's job, which is a bit worrying, really. I think underwhelming is the name of the game, I think. And what we said when he got the job was, as long as he's got an experienced assistant alongside him, I think that's probably not going to be too serious a problem. But word coming out, it's unconfirmed yet, but word coming out is the assistant is going to be a guy who's just got 2 years managerial experience in non-league.
Oh, wow. I mean, supporting a club that goes for rookie managers, I can say it depends what you get really, because obviously we were Carl Robinson's first job
Yeah,
before he moved on to other clubs. Russell Martin, it was his first job as well. He's moved on to the Championship, and then Liam Manning's first job in England as well. He seems to be doing well for Oxford in the transfer window so far.
yeah,
And then our previous one, Mark Jackson, that just seemed to be I think it was the case of the right person at the wrong time.
Yeah.
He did galvanise the squad towards the end of the season, but to be honest, we left ourselves too much to do last season.
Well,
It was just, I don't know. It just felt like it was a last chance saloon by Winkelman to try and save us, and unfortunately, it didn't work.
tell me what's happened with MK Dons, because under Liam Manning, you were doing very well, and in the 21-22 season, you were in the playoffs, and it was the last match of the season to for a place in automatic promotion to the championship, and didn't quite happen for you because of other results and that sort of thing. But I mean, to go from that and then the following year to get relegated is, why did Liam Manning get sacked his first? Because he'd been doing a good job for you.
I think it was. I think it was mainly because Winkelman was just trying to get ahead of like possible like relegation. Winkelman never talked of relegation, and even before the game against Burton, last game of the season, he kept saying to the fan base, "We're not going down. We're not going down," and it
Yeah,
felt like he never believed we were ever going to go down. But onto Liam Manning as a coach, he was brilliant. His first his first full season wasn't technically his squad. All those players that
yeah.
signed, apart from the ones he signed in January, were all Russell Martin signings. Scott Twine, Troy Parrott, Mo Isa, Matt O'Reilly, who's now Champions League and winning cups up in
Yeah,
Scotland. Um, so that was all Russell Martin's legwork before he decided to walk on us 3 days before the start of the season. But what Liam Manning did with that squad was just, I don't think anyone dare dream that was going to happen, especially after what happened at the start of the season. And
yeah,
particularly in the start of February when we were 12 points behind Rotherham and Wigan, and then we still managed to close it down. And we were so close, and then just the playoffs never worked out for us. We tried to play Wickham at their own game in the first leg, and you can
yeah.
never try and play long ball against Wickham because it just is not going to work.
No.
And we just gave ourselves too much to do in the second leg. All they did was defend and do what Gareth Ainsworth's sides do best, and
Yeah,
see they got through to the final. But just I think it was a case of much poorer recruitment. We were going for players that were projects rather than players that had been proven
yeah, yeah,
last summer. Players like Dawson Devoy, Dara Burns, could say Matt Smith from January, Dan Kemp, who we loaned out to Hartlepool second half of the season as well. And it just never clicked. Injuries didn't help, but it's not really an excuse for the really poor recruitment that we had last summer. When you
yeah.
lose someone like Scott Twine, who was 20 goals and 12 assists, and then you miss Harry
Where did
Darling,
he
who
go,
scored.
Twine? Where
Sorry,
did Twine go?
Burnley.
Oh, Burnley. Ah, got you.
Yeah,
Onwards and
so we
upwards then for him.
yeah, absolutely. That's it. He's in the Premier League now. It's just amazing. Harry Darling as well. He scored 10 goals from centre back, so we were missing him. He went to Swansea with Russell Martin, and it was just we just didn't replace the spine of our team last summer,
Yeah.
and that was the downfall really.
And then obviously so Liam Manning then sort of sold out. They're sold out for him, really, I suppose, by the sound of it. Sort of taking the money and dropping him in it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fan base did feel sorry for him because he is a really good coach, and I really hope it works out at Oxford. And it seems he's getting the backing of the board there. They've signed that. Is it Rodriguez from Notts County,
Rodriguez
which
from
I
Notts
think is
County,
a heck
that's
of
a super signing,
yeah,
that is, for Oxford.
yeah. So I was really sort of taken aback by that because I never thought he'd go there, but no, good luck to him. And as I say, onwards and upwards, and all we can think about is League Two now.
Yeah, I think that the Mark Jackson obviously just won 6 in 25 for him. He sort of picked up a ball that was already falling, didn't he? I suppose.
Absolutely. He was. I'd say he was more of a motivational coach.
Yeah,
He was always trying to motivate the team, always saying, "Look, we're narrowly losing. We can we can still get out of this. We can still get out of this." I mean, two of his wins came against Forest Green, who
yeah,
obviously were the worst team in League One.
yeah.
Then we went to Bristol Rovers with that. I don't know if you saw that infamous tweet last season where they tweeted about our attendance and about the ticketing system, and then we ended up winning 2-0 down there, upsetting
Oh,
Joey Barton, which is not a bad thing. But
anybody getting one over on Joey Barton's got a smile on the face, haven't they?
absolutely. But it never really, the season really never got going under Jackson. As I say, he was left with too much to do. He did bring in a couple of really good players in January, Jonathan Lecco, Sully Kaikai, Paris Magoma on loan from
Yeah,
Brentford. He was brilliant, and it was just too little, too late, and nothing on Mark Jackson. I mean, yeah, he did pick the team, but I think most of the blame needs to go on Pete Winkleman and
yeah.
Liam Sweet, who's the head of recruitment.
Before we get on to the new journey in League Two, just want to cover off a few players. One player that that you had off us was Zach Jules. We loved him, Zach Jules. How's he done for MK?
The first season he was here, he didn't really get going. He was loaned to Fleetwood for half the season and seemed to do pretty well there. And then we thought under Manning he wouldn't get a chance, but whatever he did last summer, he seemed to get himself in the side. He was playing really well. What I like about him is he's quite brave on the ball for
Yeah,
someone of like his size and stature. Like his pace for a man of his size is just sometimes you think, where's this coming from? Um, he's always very honest on interviews, which is what I like about him
yeah,
as well. And I'm pleased sort of in the way that he's sort of proved our fan base not fully wrong, but he sort of said I am worth keeping. And as we said before we recorded, he's been given another year's extension, which obviously shows the improvement the club's seeing him. So
Has it
um,
has he been playing in the back three, or has he been playing on the wing or wing back?
he's been playing in the back three. Dean Lewington got an injury towards the end of the season, so he got quite a good run in the side. So he was left of a back three,
Oh,
and
yeah, okay.
then when Daniel Harvey got injured, he played left wing back. But I don't think wing back's his position as
No, no. I
much.
think left of a back three or a pure left back is
Yeah,
probably. He started off with Warsaw as a centre half and got caught out quite a lot, and he sort of was transformed at Warsaw, and he started playing on the left side as a left back, and
yeah.
was awesome, to be honest. We were really gutted when he went, really gutted. So it's good that he's doing well for you, or say he's not commanding regular starts, but maybe he will next season.
Maybe. I mean, Dean Lewington's the irremovable force unless he's injured.
Well, he's been there. Oh, it's Ray Lewington, wasn't it? Was the other guy I'm thinking of? Was that his brother? Is it?
No, Ray Lewington's his dad.
Oh,
Who's his assistant coach at Crystal Palace with Roy Hodgson. But
got you.
I could talk about Dean Lewington for ages. What he's done is been brilliant. I mean, what people can say about Milton Keynes and the way we were formed was neither here or there. But to get over 900 appearances for one club and to be captain of that club for pretty much all that time,
Yeah,
and his consistent performances, his position is second to none. He might not have the pace, but his positioning more than makes up for that. And
yeah,
I, it's going to be so difficult to find a replacement for someone like that.
How old is he now, Dean? How old's Dean Lewington now?
38 or 39, I think.
Oh, blooming heck, yeah. So he's starting to slow down a bit then.
His legs are, but his brain isn't. So yeah.
Well, we had not last season, season before, we had Stephen Ward, former Wolves and Burnley, and Ipswich fullback. And we thought that with him, he thought he's smart now, so sort of really stand out. What really stood out was his lack of pace, and he had every week. He was like the weak link of the side, where we thought when he signed that he'd be sort of like a real key part of it. So it was a shame how that went, really. For next season, have you still got Mo Issa? Is he going to still be with you?
Yes, he again got an extension on his contract in the summer, so for another season, I think it was. Wasn't quite his season last season. He got he was still recovering from an injury he picked up from the season before, where he I think it was an ACL injury. So unfortunately, it took him a while to get back into it, and we didn't play to his strengths. Mo Issa's best when you play a ball behind the defence. He can run onto it one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he's one of those strikers that you don't even have to look, and it's in the back of the net.
Yeah.
How
old is he? Issa?
27 or 28. So
he's that kind of age. Okay.
You'd say, but he does try, and he splits the fan base, because when he scores and when he's on form, he's the best thing since sliced bread. But the things like tracking back, like the modern day strikers meant to be tracking back and meant to be closing down, some of the fan base still don't rate him for that. So he's a bit like Marmite. But at the minute, for League Two, I think any League Two side would have Mo Issa in their side if they thought about it.
Yeah. Okay. Will Grigg, he didn't score many for you last season. Will Grigg was not on fire last season for you.
Oh, the fire was well and truly put out last season.
He's slowing down a bit though, I think, isn't he?
He's slowing down. He didn't get many appearances with Liam Manning or Mark Jackson, to be honest. He seemed to come on as a sub to maybe impact the game.
Yeah.
I personally think he might be one that moves on, possibly National Leagues now his level. I mean, he's handy to have round the squad, and if we keep him, then it could be a bonus. He might get us 8 to 10 goals if he plays, but I wouldn't be too fussed if he left, to be honest.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I want to go on to some messages in a minute, but Connor Grant, he was quite a big player for you. 4 goals, 6 assists last season. He's quite a playmaker for you, I guess.
He was again someone that we signed in the summer. A lot of potential from Rochdale. We were all sort of thinking, wow, okay. And then he never really got into the side at the start of the season. It seemed to be Nathan Holland, Mo Issa, and Louis Barry as the front three. And Connor Grant.
Louis Barry, we know about him.
Yeah. So he
what
never
do you
really
reckon
got into
Louis Barry?
Sorry?
What do you think of Louis Barry?
Flattered to deceive. Have to be honest, he flattered to deceive.
Chicken. Yeah.
Yes. Very much a headless chicken. He's got the ability, and if he didn't have the ability, then Barcelona wouldn't have signed him when they did. But sometimes he needs to learn when to pass and when not to pass. His decision making is probably why he was in League Two last season, the second half of last season. So yeah, never really got going for us, Louis Barry.
That's a pity. So we're onto League Two. I've got a Wrexham fan mentioned in the comments. Do the Dons travel well? So how many would you likely be taking to Wrexham?
If I'm honest, it would probably depend on how well we're doing in the season when we played them. I mean, when we were doing well in League One in the promotion season, there were 7 games in a row we took over 1,000 away from home,
Okay.
which I know doesn't sound a lot, but we're a young club and our fan base is still growing. And now it's getting to the point where the younger fan bases are like at that age where they're sort of traveling more. So our
Okay. Okay.
numbers are growing. So
So
yeah,
what's your typical home attendance now?
we sell about 5,500 season tickets, and then maybe with
Oh, that's
walk-ins,
good.
maybe that pushes up to 6, maybe 7. So personally think the stadium's a bit too big for us at the minute. But
How many does it
Pete
hold?
Winkleman,
How many does it hold? Stadium MK?
30,000 it holds.
30,000.
Yeah, but I
Uh,
think Pete Winkleman is using it to his advantage because we've got a Lionesses game coming up on the 1st of July, and we've already sold
yeah.
20,000 tickets for that against Portugal in the friendly. And then we do have some other like games there. The ladies play there as well. The youth team sometimes play there, and then we sometimes have concerts there during the summer. So it does
Okay.
get
That's good
used.
income. Good income for the ground and that.
Sorry.
Good income. Brings the
Yes,
money in.
yes, yeah, very good money for the club.
So we aside the mention in the comments, Dale Litton is a Wrexham fan from Texas. The Wrexham bandwagon has certainly arrived in League Two, and they're definitely going to be a force. Where do you see MK finishing? I know the Wrexham fans thinking they're going to win the league, which on the face of it, I wouldn't be surprised. But MK Dons, where do you think you're likely to finish?
I'd like to think it's automatic promotion, and that's not me being arrogant or big-headed or anything like that. I know League Two is going to be difficult. You've got your Wrexhams, your Notts Counties that have come up that have done really well. You've got your Gillinghams that are spending money. I mean, they went and got Johnny Williams yesterday.
Yeah,
Bradford, Doncaster have recruited really well as
yeah.
well.
Stockport, yeah,
Port's another one. Tranmere was normally there or thereabouts. Salford.
yeah,
So I think League Two might be the league to watch this season, and I think it's going to be one of those leagues where it's going to go down to the last game of the season to decide like the majority of like playoff and automatic promotion
yeah,
places because I can't really separate sort of the top. I'd say top 12 at least
yeah.
from what I can gather from early.
I think when Walsall came down from League One to League Two, we thought, oh, we'll be all right. We go straight back up because we had previously. But it seems every year it's getting harder and harder to return to League One. And I know Walsall have only just started or haven't yet started their recruitment, as in signings. But as we stand, um, I can't see Walsall finishing above top half. But really, we should be challenging top 7. But we need some good quality players in, and it's going to be tough. And I think you'll be surprised, Jonathan. I think League Two is going to be a tough old league next season.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think any of the relegated sides from the previous season even got in the playoffs, did they? With Gillingham,
No,
Doncaster, AFC Wimbledon, and Crewe. They all sort of
yeah,
finished round about each other, didn't they? It was all
that's
sort
it.
of pretty.
Was it Doncaster and Crewe, wasn't it? 2 of them that came down.
Yeah. So, as you say, it is going to be tough, and I'm under no illusions it's going to be tough. It was tough the last time we came down in 18-19 when
Yeah,
Lincoln won the league. Because I think that was Lincoln, Swindon, ourselves, and Mansfield were fighting for the automatics, and we got the last automatic spot by beating Mansfield on the final day of the season.
But anybody who beats Mansfield keeps me happy. Who's your main rivals then at MK? That'd be the other Wimbledon, I guess.
Yeah, for this league, it would be the other Wimbledon because I think one of our closest sort of geography wise would be Swindon, probably. But we've, as well, a bit like you, we've got quite the northern sort of, I'll call it the northern hemisphere to tackle with all the clubs there.
Yeah.
And the amount of travelling that we've got to do, but we've only got ourselves to blame. Could have made it easier for ourselves if we'd stayed up. I think it would have been more sort of like local games. But unfortunately, what happens when the recruitment's wrong? But I'm looking forward to it. There's quite a few new grounds that I haven't been to that I'm looking forward to going to. Looking forward to expanding my contacts as well. So yeah, it's going to be really good.
Got another comment from Cyprus, Cyprus Sadler, and he's talking about the real Wimbledon. That's I bet you have some grief over that, the franchise and all that.
Water off a duck's back, honestly. Yeah, it's water off a duck's back. If that's what people have got to come with, and that they can chant and say that we're in the library, etc. We're used to it, so we enjoy it. We enjoy that.
The thing is, you've got a good level of support now, haven't you? You've got a good level of support. It's building.
Exactly.
And if next season you're taking 1,000 away, you're going to be well supported. On average, I think probably average is probably around about 800. I would say 700-800.
Yeah.
But, got some a lot less and some a lot more, obviously. But it's going to be a spicy one. I'm just hoping Walsall can get those signings in. We'll definitely have an extra connection with MK Dons now, with obviously the Graham Alexander sort of contact. Seeing whether he made the right decision to go with you guys. And Dale Litton is saying the Wrexham fans are apparently very excited to play the Dons.
Is that the Ryan Reynolds connection? Is it?
I don't know.
The Deadpool and all that. So
I don't know.
I
don't know
why.
Why is that? Why are they excited to play the Dons? I don't know.
Yeah, well, fair play to them. I'm looking forward to going to Wrexham and Notts County and several grounds I want to go to. Went to Walsall once before, so I'm looking forward to going back there. So yeah,
that's good. Dale's responded, yes, that is the Ryan Reynolds correction. So we got that one. Right then, we'll leave it there. I think that's good. We'll get you back on around match preview time when we're meeting up with you guys. But that's been good. Thanks for coming on, Jonathan. I know you've had a busy day, so thank you for making time for us.
Not a problem. Thank you very much for inviting me on, and I look forward to catching up in the season.
Nice one. The joy and the pain, we call it. You're familiar with that, aren't you?
Yes, I
am. This is what we do. The joy and the pain. That's the. And then when we lose, I'm sort of head in my hands. That's the way it goes. Right then. Cheers. Thanks very much. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for watching. Cheers.